As you scroll through over 3.5 million new documents from the Epstein files, you will be shocked by this image. Who is this person? What is he doing? And who is this woman? This is Prince Andrew, a member of the British royal family. He appears kneeling over an unidentified woman. No one knows. Is she alive or dead? Is she conscious or intoxicated? This image was just one of millions that set the internet on fire in recent weeks, bringing the scandal back to the forefront. Epstein is the most talked about name in the world right now. This man is not just a criminal, and his case is not just an ordinary criminal file. It is one of the strangest stories from the world of billionaires, showing how power and influence can drive a human to a level of depravity that rivals the devil himself.
Serious question. Do you think you're the devil himself?
I don't know. Why would you say that?
Because you have all the attributes. You're incredibly smart. You remember, the devil is somebody who knows.
Smart?
On January 20th, 1953, Jeffrey Epstein was born in New York, a man whose name would become more recognized than scientists and inventors, but for the darkest of reasons. He worked briefly in education before jumping into the world of high finance. The media portrayed him as a mysterious businessman serving a tight circle of the elite. He was rarely seen, yet his influence backstage in politics and economics was more powerful than the politicians themselves. He owned what few possess: a private jet, luxury estates in New York and Florida, and, most importantly, a network of connections involving the world's heavyweights. It seemed he had built his own parallel world. But this obscene wealth and mystery always begged one question: where did this come from? His source of income was never clear. By the mid-90s, informal complaints began to surface from underage girls about strange behaviors, but they were met with silence due to his influence, and no one wanted to believe the victims. The real turning point came in 2005, when a victim's father filed a formal report with the Palm Beach police. Suddenly, complaints fell like dominoes: similar stories, matching details, and one recurring pattern. By 2006, after intense investigations, the police recommended very serious charges, and in 2007, the file against him was heavy enough to destroy Epstein completely. But what happened next became the most controversial twist in the entire story, changing the course of events forever. In 2008, Epstein was convicted of serious charges involving the exploitation of minors. In the West, there are red lines you simply do not cross. If you harm children or women, your life is over. Everyone believed the evidence was solid and the witnesses were ready, and that a harsh sentence was inevitable. But instead of justice, a shady plea deal was struck. Epstein served an incredibly short sentence with lenient conditions, barely a slap on the wrist. The bigger disaster was that this deal sealed the records, blocking victims from ever seeking justice in the future. The victims swallowed the shock in silence, while the public treated it like just another news headline. From 2009 to 2018, Epstein faded from the headlines, yet he continued to travel freely, rubbing shoulders with the political and economic elite. But as they say, in politics, there are no permanent friends. Investigative journalism began digging up the past, and the world's tolerance for abuse changed. By late 2018, the case exploded, becoming the world's #1 scandal. Reports exposed the dirty details of that 2008 deal, and the pressure to bring him down mounted. On July 6, 2019, at a New Jersey airport, the FBI was waiting. This time, the file was heavier. The charges: sex trafficking of minors spanning years. No deals, no bail, no escape. In that specific moment, people felt that real justice was finally within reach. But this time, the shock hit differently, especially after the leak of names linked to Epstein or his island. First, the political earthquake. Bill Clinton, the former U.S. president. His name appeared in flight logs, but he repeatedly denied knowing about the crimes or visiting the island. Legally, he faced no charges. Second, Donald Trump. Their relationship was social for a time, then cut off completely. According to the court, no evidence links him to the island's events. Again, no charges. Third, and most controversial, Prince Andrew. Named in numerous testimonies, creating a massive crisis within the British royal family. Epstein was moved to a federal detention center in New York, and the world waited. Would he confess? Would he name names? On July 23, 2019, reports emerged of him being injured in his cell. Then, on the morning of Saturday, August 10, 2019, his death was officially announced. What a coincidence! He died just weeks before the trial, taking his secrets to the grave. The official story said suicide, and the legal file was closed. But in the media, the story exploded. How did he die right before the trial? Who benefits? And why were the guards missing? These questions have kept the case alive until today, 2026. Especially with the DOJ releasing over 3.5 million new documents, photos, videos, emails, and flight logs. Now, the picture is clearer regarding the network connecting Epstein to the world's most powerful figures. The recently released documents revealed new names, such as Elon Musk and the former CEO of the World Economic Forum. But remember, just being named in the files does not mean guilt, nor does it imply involvement in criminal acts. It could simply be a business contact or a casual acquaintance. Imagine it like this. A popular guy in your town, everyone knows him. Suddenly, authorities discover he is a serial killer. Everyone would immediately try to deny any connection to him, even if their relationship was completely innocent. One reason Epstein's death was more sensational than his life is that a public trial would have opened the door to subpoenas for heavy hitters no one expected. Even if those figures were innocent, just being summoned to testify under oath in front of the media is seen as an indirect conviction by the public. To the average person, just showing up in court means you are involved. This very idea birthed the strongest theory about Epstein's death, that he was silenced to bury his secrets with him. Although I hate conspiracy theories, accepting his death as a coincidence is harder than accepting the coincidence of the universe's creation. Strangely, right after the documents were released, the disinformation machine started a war of political and economic score settling. If you have a rival and want to destroy their reputation, it is now easy. Take two names, use AI to fake a document claiming it is leaked, and from there, let your imagination run wild.